So let's get into what we're going to cover today. I think we've done introductions for Anne and I. Just by way of background, I started my career with Immigration and Customs Enforcement in 2008, built the export compliance platform, their first export compliance targeting platform, and then started a data science company. And that's where Anne and I met. We worked together on transshipment and transnational criminal organization analysis for quite a few years. And then we decided to start Byte in 2023. And you want to just give a bit of background on your side?
Yeah, thanks, Tarek. As Tarek said, we met working on those supply chain investigations, looking at large manifest data, customs data from around the world, and digging in there and finding that needle in a haystack on that side. And excited to, we were very happy to transition over to build Byte and provide tools to help people be compliant. So happy to have you all on today and walk you through what we've got, what updates we have.
Yeah, and it's kind of a de facto v3.0 overview here. Pre-look, we're going to show you our Byte product catalog that lets you get your product data into Byte. We do screen it for risk, and then you can send that document or that data off to wherever you need to after that, whether it's legal, counsel, your broker, etc. We're going to show you our Byte analyzer that takes in the ES003. We'll introduce our special guest right before we do that. And then we'll show you some of our visualization and reporting capabilities. A lot of people are getting asked to report up to the C-suite, to provide information to higher ups they didn't have to before, and we want to try to help out with that as well. And lastly, we're very open about our pricing model, what we charge for stuff. We'll go over that for some of the new products that we have coming out here. So with that, I'm not going to kill anyone by PowerPoint. And I do wonder if we have the Q&A set up.
It is set up, yes.
It is.
So down at the bottom, there's a small little box with a question mark that says Q&A. So you can post those questions in there.
Perfect. Thanks. I didn't see that. Zoom's changed a bit. Oh, okay. Back to sharing. So let's jump into the product catalog. The product catalog is a way for you to capture risk prior to data entering into the cross-border process. So this is a great way to pick things up early on, a great way to encourage data hygiene, and a great way to make life easier for the folks downstream, right? Whoever's performing any customs work, who is filing, and who's moving goods. So it's kind of like your live dynamic way to keep a product catalog available to you and the people in your company to be able to input data about the product. And so, we have people with 4 million SKUs, maybe 100,000 of them get actually processed for cross-border trade. Those 100,000 are great to get into the product catalog. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen here once again. And I'll go to Byte. So we've just released a new dashboard for Byte. On here, you can see product compliance scores. You can see how many data sets how many lines you have, products you have in your product database. We also do perform entity screening as well. So these two are our database concepts, right? So the concept of Byte is that you have a database, you can dynamically screen it, and you can ensure that you are reducing risk. We automatically screen things throughout the day or week, and we send you a heads up when we do find an issue. So it's a nice way to kind of ensure that there's another set of eyes on your data. We then have the concept of tools. So what are some of the one-off checks you can do? You can run an import or export screen. You can calculate a tariff. You can run an analyzer. And we'll walk through our analyzers as well in a little bit here. And then you can also do one-off checks in our tools section. So our tools section lets you answer a specific question. So really, we have three workflows at Byte. One, the dynamic screening database for your products and entities. Secondly, the analyzer, a one-off high-volume simulation of, for example, calculating the stack tariff for 10,000 HTS codes. And then thirdly, or analyzing ES003. And then thirdly, we have the ability to provide a specific answer for a specific question. What is a stack tariff? Is there a custom flag, etc.? So let me start with the databases. So on my left here, I'll show the the two databases we have, entities and products. Let's start with products. So these are test databases. We're in our test environment right here, and we'll go off to check out one of these. So in our database, we're starting essentially this is our view of data hygiene on the pre-entry process. You're starting to upload information on your products. We give you an overview here of the data that we're screening that you've uploaded. In order to create a database, let me touch on that real quick. We have three different structures that you can create your database data structure. One is a hierarchical flow where we have an assembly, a sub-assembly, and a bill of materials. You upload this data with a specific template. We then have a flat flow. This is really SKU to HTS. You have a SKU, you have an HTS, you have a description. You can upload that data or connect via API, and we ingest that data for you. You then have HTS code grouping flow. This is HTS codes. It's a very focused on the HTS code being the master data element. You upload that into the database. You add a little bit more information, and it walks you through a stepped process in order to upload your data. I won't go through all that right now. Once it's in, you do get one of these boxes here with your database completed. You do see potential issues here as well. And so we'll bring up all the issues that we see in the database. So I'll go ahead and click on one of these. As mentioned, you do see your country risk overview, you see your priority issues, and you see the recent activity as well. I can then go to view my products. And in here, this is the structured tree structure. So the assembly, sub-assembly, and then bill of materials. I'll go ahead and open up this. We give you a compliance score for each of your parts. So in here, this is what we run the data against. We check if something's missing. We check if there's a product description issue. And then we check the stack duty and tariff. We also give you a customs flag as well. It doesn't reduce your score because we don't know what your PGA code status is. We don't know what your ADCVD thresholds are. So we bring that up. We let you know there's an issue. And then, that's something that you can tackle. In here, so here's essentially, this is our credit report, for lack of a better term, for your product. There's a summary, there's a compliance score, there's a product details. And then we bring back duty on information on the flags. In this case, we do see a forced labor flag. You can click into it. You see there's a steel forced labor issue from China. You can go ahead and take a look at what that entails. We then have the tariff and duty calculation as well. So down here, you can see what that full breakdown is. You can see what the exclusions are. And you can see other information related to it here as well. Let me go back up and go to an assembly product. Go back to the database. At the assembly level, we do give you some country of origin information as well. Down here, we'll tell you how many components, where the countries are from, and we'll give you the list of HTS codes associated with that assembly. Okay. This data can get shared as well. So if you wanted to you can run the screen again, but if you wanted to send this somewhere, for example, if you wanted to send it to your broker, you can prepare it for that. You can also send it to different places as well. This isn't a full integration. Someone does need to review the data, provide a analysis to make sure it looks good, and then you can send it off to different places. So this is really a kind of file of information about your products. And let me just mention this. We have quick flags you can also grab here if you wanted to just quickly see, hey, am I missing any country of origin information? Is there missing HTS code, etc. And that'll quickly help you understand the data profile for your data. We do let you screen the data regularly. So in the database settings, you can pick when you'd like to screen your data. So you can say, weekly, monthly, etc. You go ahead and hit the screen, and then we'll send you notifications. So I've clicked yes here, but we can send you a notification when any data changes. We actually do the same thing. So this was products. Again, getting this data into a database, increasing the hygiene from a compliance perspective, getting it ready for sending it to the customs processing, the method by which you want to execute your cross-border trade. This is where we recommend people starting. Get it out of the spreadsheets, get it out of your supply chain management software, get it to a place where you have a master data list of information that you trade in. I'll stop just to check if there's any questions.
Yeah, Tarek, one question that came in was, can the catalog info be mapped to our system in CargoWise?
We obviously don't integrate it with you. We have some requests for folks who want CSV output. So you can download it and then you can use it as you would your parts data or whatever you do today, except you'd see the enrichments for the compliance scores and things like that in the download.
And then also, what is the import-export screen function screening against? And is the tariff calculator US only? When reviewing the compliance screening, is the assumption that this is all US bound product? If so, will this be expanded to include global information? If not, can you differentiate it in the database to indicate countries of import to populate different compliance insights?
That's a great question. And I think we have it on the roadmap to introduce a drop down to say US imports. So for tariff right now, tariff and duty is strictly US. We should have, well, and you answer that question. When will we have Mexico, Canada?
Yeah, so to answer the first question, what is the import-export screening function screening against? So currently, the database is set up as you said, U.S. bound products. We do have all of the lists available that Tarek has showing up on his screen right now. So if you open up the tools section and go to import screening, it has all of the lists there. So that's where what it's screening against. Happy to kind of walk through any of those lists that you're interested in. And those are primarily, yes, US bound lists. With the caveat there are controlled or licensable commodities on there. That's, people are usually looking at that more on the export side, but also important, obviously, on the import side as well. The tariff calculator is US only at the moment. We are bringing in global HTS schedules and tariff regimes in the coming weeks, months. We'll see. I can get back with an exact timeline on that. And then, yeah, same with Tarek. Do you want to touch on like exports at all on the database?
Yeah, sure. We do have export screening coming up as well. So on the export screen side, we will have a number of sensitive technology screens, precursor chemicals, things like that. We will check for ECCN country as well. So I'm pivoting to this tools section on the application. There are specific tools in here, like the export screen, the import screen. On these tools, if you click on set filters, you can see what we screen against. On the export side, we will also screen for ECCN2. So I'll just stick one in here. We'll screen for ECCN. We'll screen for ITAR USML. We'll look at quite a number of factors. And so right now we have a roadmap to get that out. The export piece within the catalog will come out in the next 6 to 8 weeks. We're just trying to get a bit more export data in. We're trying to increase the speed. There is quite a bit of AI that we use for the export screen, so we are trying to make these models a little faster. But you would, for example, get the license requirement note and then the summary of applicable controls.
And then next question, does Byte have future plans to calculate USMCA eligibility?
Mhm.
And I think kind of another one just came in related. Are you considering FTA analysis as part of your roadmap to expand on the BOM analysis?
These are all your questions, Anne.
I know. That's why I'm chuckling as I'm reading them. Yes, and yes. So we do have both of those on our roadmap. If you're in the application now, you may have noticed on the import screening side, there's like a recommend tab that says future, and those are some of the questions that we will be hoping to answer in that section.
I think we're also going to wait to see what happens in June and July with USMCA. I think there may be some regulatory drift coming up here. So right now, we're gathering the components we need to build those. We do have a little bit of a wait and see on that one, especially USMCA, as we get into the summer. Okay, so I showed you products. Let's do entities. So we do let you upload and screen your suppliers, vendors, third parties in here. This is another example of a dynamic screening database. So you can upload or integrate via API as many entities as you want. I have 208,000 in here, and we let you look at the attributes or the screened attributes. So we screen against over 300 data sets. We give you an email when we see a hit come in, and we give you an AI overview together with all of the restricted entities here. You can also add beneficial ownership. You can add links to different companies within each entity. Those get screened as well. And for this tool, we're ramping up in the summer towards having the commerce affiliates 50% rule flag in here. So if this company did have someone associated with them, we would flag that in the entities module. Sorry, in the relationship module. Okay, so that was ByteDB, the entities and the product dynamic screening for entities and products, ensuring that hygiene, on the pre-entry process. I showed you a little bit about the single operation tools as well. Those were the two things that I wanted to cover, but I will pass back onto you here, Anne.
Great, thanks, Tarek. I will go ahead and share my screen as well. I feel like I get to be the belle of the ball. I think a lot of people are excited to see the new ACE analyzer that we have out. So I'm excited to show that. Let me just,
Oh, do we want to introduce our special guest before we do that?
sure.
Okay, how do we
Yes,
add her?
I will go ahead and promote her.
Okay. You're getting
Um,
promoted, Cindy. Let's see.
um,
So just a caveat. So we've been very lucky to work with Cindy De Leon and her team on the next tool that and is going to show you. Cindy is a former CBP auditor. Everyone in the trade world knows her. If you don't, you may have been living under a rock. If you haven't, though, meet her today. And yeah, welcome, Cindy, and thank you for everything you've done to help us along the way.
Thank you, Tarek and Ann. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, it is an absolute joy to just join here and say hello to everybody. We are super excited about working with Byte and you're gonna find this funny, but the very first time that you and I got together on a call, it was exactly March 19th, 2024, exactly 2 years ago. Um,
Wow.
when
What are the chances?
I know when And and the joy for me, honestly, is just being able to work with this team and take all that we know and all of our, former customs experience and our almost 20 years of consulting experience and work with a team who is willing to just give us, services and products that truly meet our needs because we desperately need you and meet the needs of so many others. So we're super excited to be working with you and to really just come into this advisor role.
Awesome. Thanks a ton, Cindy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
I was gonna feel bad demoting her, so thanks, Cindy. Um, all right. So let me jump in and share my screen. Where did that go? And before I get over to the ACE analyzer that is very exciting, I did just want to highlight one upcoming uh, change and just remind anyone who's on now. I've spoken to a few people who aren't aware that we currently have a bulk tariff tool as well. So just wanted to highlight that. So in the tool right now, if you're on the home page and you click on ByteDB, it's in the tariff database there. But when we launch, as Tarek said, our next version, it's going over to a test environment here. It'll be under analyzers. So both of the tools that I'm going to walk through now are on this analyzer tab. So first going to tariff analyzer. So I think most people on the call here are familiar with the single tariff tool and have been using that. And I've loved getting to know um, everyone and talking to you and learning from you. So thank you. And what we found very early on is that checking one tariff one by one is fantastic, and that's great. But things can get complicated pretty quickly, and you may have 50 or 100 or 1,000 lines come in at once. And so we have this bulk tool. So this comes, you open it up, you have the ability to download a template here. So tariffs, you can put in your tariff database name and description, and you download the template right from here. And the only required fields on that are HTS and country of origin. And you can put those in and run it and see what you get out. And you can export that and use that outside of the tool as well. So just wanted to remind everyone that that is available. You can run multiple lines at once. When it opens up in the tariff database here, you can then see that in this view. So if you don't want to take it out, if you want to keep it in the platform, you can check it out on this view. Hover over each one of these status keys. So in this case, an exemption may be available that I didn't use. You can also open each ticket up and see what the associated duties were. You can always enter live mode as well and change, if I got my value wrong, it was really only $54. I can save that and see how that changes things down here. So that's just a quick reminder on the tariff analyzer. Again, get your stock tariffs, view it in the platform, take it out of the platform. You can also when you're exporting from this, you can export into both a vertical CSV that is similar to what you see in ACE. I'm sure everyone's very familiar and possibly frustrated with that vertical printout. Or there is a horizontal printout that does map to, I know someone asked earlier about CargoWise, does it map to CargoWise column headers? And if there are other templates there, please feel free to reach out and we can figure out how to get that into a format for you. This is really the kind of front end, figuring it out, what tariffs you need to enter, what should be applied. And now I will go to kind of the next step, and the segue from horizontal is a good one here. So this is an ACE analyzer. So again, starting with kind of the question that we've gotten asked quite a lot over the past few months is, okay, we did our filings. How do we know if there are errors? Do we have to call Cindy? How do we know what's going on? And also, more and more, what are my potential IEEPA refunds? How do I even calculate that? Where do I go? And I think we all know that the answer is out there. It's available in your ACE data, but then it becomes, how are we going to calculate it? How many spreadsheets will it take? How many access databases? How many VLOOKUP formulas? And it's painful. So what this tool can do is starting with, let me just move this out of the way, starting with an ES003. This is dummy data here, but an example of what it might look like when you export that from ACE. And you can then run a new analysis here in the ACE analyzer. So that ACE data, as we can see here, just going back, we've got multiple entries, summary, lines. How do I know, how to calculate all of this, right? I think we all are familiar with that problem. So if I want to run a new analysis, again, you just put in the name here. I'll just download the template and then upload that and analyze the document. Just so I don't have to switch between windows, I have it in a Google Sheet here. It's an upload in a CSV. And once you run that, it takes, just a couple seconds, minutes, depending on how many you have in there. And two kind of outputs here. So the first one I will show is in the platform. So I've uploaded my ES003. If I open up that data here, you can then start to see my line items, my findings, total value on this upload, total duty paid. So this read through everything in my ACE data and output this here. Just a quick note. So in my, oh, that's not the right one that I showed the ES003 for. There we go. So in this document, I had 38 lines, and now I'm at 16 lines, and that's because each line had, something separate on it. So from here, you can again look through all your lines, what's been flagged, what had no issues. So I've taken my ES003, I've put it in here, and I can start to audit my data. And for each line, you can open it up and see there's an unexpected Chapter 99, or there's a tariff duty discrepancy between what was calculated by BITE and what was reported in that ACE report. What we're hearing a lot of is, maybe there's a 301 tariff and a 301 exception. Somehow both were accepted by ACE, right? Or a steel IEEPA exception, but their 232 wasn't applied. Whatever kind of idiosyncrasies we've all found in our tariff data. So you can start to see that here. And look into the ACE data and find out, what should have been applied. Am I missing something? Did I overpay? Did I underpay? Also really exciting here. Again, this is really helpful to see it this way. But from a risk perspective, risk assessment, the ability also to export this. So you can export here. Again, you can name it whatever you want, but this is analyze results, or you can always export your original upload so that you have that to look at as well. But if I were to export my analyzed results here, I can look here. And what this does is, instead of just mapping, all the tariff ordinal ones in one column, tariff ordinal twos in one column, this is what we, worked with Cindy on. And what we've done is group the tariffs into different groupings. So scrolling to the right here, we have our HTS number, the description, if there are any Chapter 98s, and then you can start to see the groupings here. So Section 301, HTS and description, 232s. And this is really helpful, if you start to sort and you look only at China, and then you come here, you can quickly scan, okay, I've got 301s there, that makes sense. If I'm missing one, did I mean to be missing one? How do I know I have done this right? So this is a really quick way to start to look through your data and see where different tariffs are falling. So here we've got the country specific, we've got reciprocals. Why am I missing reciprocal tariffs here? Where did those come from? Do I need to look further? And then down at the end here, we've got all of our calculations. So you can start to see value by line and then also by tariff. So yeah, so what we're seeing, again, working with Cindy has been amazing, getting these in sections that are helpful for people. And this really helps with post-summary corrections. If you're working on protests or prior disclosures, just being able to quickly look at your data, do a risk assessment, evaluate what may be missing, and start to take action on some of that. And that can all happen because you can actually see the data really clearly in this horizontal format that's grouped by tariff instead of by ordinal number. So 2 different outputs here. Like I said, you can view it in the application or take it out and use that spreadsheet.
And just to confirm, we have the IEPAs at the end, right? If they're applicable for a date range of the
Yep. Yeah.
spreadsheet.
So yes. So we have them broken up into IEPA reciprocal. Where was that? Here we go.
Right at the end, isn't it? To the right.
301. Here we go. Yeah. So IEPA country specific and IEPA reciprocal. So those are split up that way. Also civil air. And then the 122s are also they're not in this template, but they are going to be in when the product is released.
Right. Yep. I think
I'll pause there for questions, but then I have kind of the next step after that as well to show. Tarek, you have okay. You have your hand
I thought I saw
raised.
someone's hand raised. Maybe I was.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah. So I know on a previous webinar I showed just again around visualizing this, getting to these answers quickly, being able to see and pull the information that you need from these tools is so important to everyone. So on the bulk tool side, I showed a dashboard previously. It was a little wild, so I'll quickly flash it up here. This was just not based on your ACE data. This is just based on bulk. If you wanted to start to get an idea, you can take the data out of that byte export, start to visualize it. We can help you set up these custom visualizations. But on the tariff analyzer, we can also set up dashboards using that data. And so toggling over there, this is the output from exactly one of those tariff analyzers that I showed. And here we've got all of our entries over the past year, 2025. And then we can start to use this to look at our IEEPA tariffs, because that's obviously a question on everyone's mind right now. How can we calculate this? How can we see this all? So this is just an example, again, taken from that horizontal ACE data, being able to put it in that format. We can create quick visualizations. So you can break it down by grouping, also by entry summary number. You can see across different tariff remedies. Scrolling down a little bit further, I seem to have lost a table here. Let me see if I can quickly add that back on because it was a good one.
And while you do that, I think
Yeah,
Cindy just had something she wanted to
yeah,
add.
hop on, Cindy.
Hey, and really quick on the ACE analyzer, if you can go back to that really quick.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason why we wanted you guys to build this out was because of forecasting. So many of our clients, because of the constant shift in tariffs, well, China's at this rate one day, now India has a new rate. So is it favorable? We can really buy this stuff in Mexico. What our clients are asking us to do is to fill out their product database and tell them and tell their purchasing and their forecasting team what is the dutiability of this product if I buy it in China, country of origin China, versus India, versus Mexico, versus wherever. And so by having the flattened look that you showed in Excel, and
Mm-hmm.
you add that SKU in that country of origin, you can give that in a more obviously a purchasing person isn't going to want this many columns, but you can give them a condensed version on one line, SKU number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, country of origin, China, India, Mexico. Here's the dutiability. And so the way the data spits out of ACE in the vertical format is just horrendous to work with and to look at. And so I think it's really good for us to do risk assessments, targeting, auditing, and that's what customs would do. And so I just wanted to throw that in there that it's useful for pre-entry, it's useful for post-entry, it's useful for forecasting, and I think CBP will migrate to this format soon. I've talked to different people in the ACE business office, and I think they're trying to figure out what you guys now have already done. So thanks for letting me make that comment.
Well, you
Yeah.
mostly, but we just
Yeah.
did a little bit. Jake wrote some code. No, I'm just joking, Jake.
Yes, Jake wrote the code,
He
and
wrote a lot of
we
code.
love Jake for that.
And we, kind of, I think going along with that, Cindy, Gabe, says projecting is also important to calculate future bond liability. So thank you for
Yeah,
that comment as well.
yeah. Thanks.
Um, Yeah, so kind of one more table I wanted to show here that I had done was around liquidation date. So you can start to see what your liquidation date is and the IEEPA that may be coming up on that date. Help you kind of start to look at planning out what you need to do potentially on your IEPAs. So I mean, that took me a couple seconds to add back on, so you can see the kind of flexibility of this visualization tool. We can add visualizations and help you get that set up to answer the questions that you're looking to answer out of your ACE data. So yeah, I think in terms of the ACE analyzer and tariff analyzer that and visualization tools, that brings me to the end. I did want to mention a few upcoming data updates and flags. I know we showed just a minute ago the data that is available in the tools section here on import. So just wanted to flag our steel mill list was hidden in an area that no one could understand or find. So we now just called it U.S. Steel and Aluminum Licensing and added an aluminum list in here as well. And similar to the way that the tariff tool currently flags for PGA codes or anti-dumping, we'll be adding those flags there as well. That's been a big request from users. And then also adding to those flags the consumer protection. So while that will be in the PGA data sets, we wanted to start flagging that separately. Again, another large, no, common request, I should say, from users. So happy to hop on anytime and walk through some of these changes and new data sets. And it looks like we have one question here. I wanted to check if my ACE info that I have in CargoWise, I would download it into a CSV and upload it into this tool for analyzing and reporting. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what you can do.
Sorry, Jackie, I apologize. I think we didn't answer your question correctly the first time. But yes, that's the case. We would need to massage it into the format that we use, but we can show you how to quickly do that.
And then I will put a link to my calendar in the chat now, just in case anyone does want to go through this either individually or we have had some requests to bring on some team members. So just know we can do one-on-one sessions with a few of your team members if they weren't able to join today, or if you wanted to deep dive into any of these tools. We can definitely set those up. So I'll go ahead and post that in the chat now. While Tarek, you field some more questions for us.
Yeah. Is it possible to integrate Byte with an existing ERP to pull the names of entities to search? Can you automatically drop names from your ERP system into a database with Byte to screen? What type of result record retention do you have on Byte? Yeah, for entities, for sure, we have API connectors we can build depending on what the system is. We have what's called a RESTful API. So we have a specific structure that any ERP can write to, and we can help the IT teams define the payload that they need to send across. Once we see it in Byte, we can screen it and send back the result. And we can log, if you approve, you have to opt into this. But if you want, we can store the data on Byte and create an audit log for each screen. So once it's in Byte, we can do the retention and the log, the analysis for the audit and the audit log, but it has to be in Byte. So that's something we can explain on a separate call, but very possible, all of those things you've asked, Julie.
And then one last thing that we are getting a lot of questions around, and I've seen a lot on message boards, is does anyone have a list of the IEEPA codes, or does anyone have a list of Chapter 99 codes? So again, I'll just share really quickly. I shouldn't have stopped sharing. We do have that list. We're happy to give it to Byte users. So we have all the Chapter 99 codes as well as broken down by IEEPA codes. So if you are a Byte user, you can always reach out to me and we can share that list with you.
Costs $5 to become a Byte user, just in case you didn't know. But you do need to do that before we send you the full list.
And Tarek and I have both posted our emails in the chat. So if you didn't have that open or you didn't see it, please feel free to email us anytime. I've also added a booking link there to book in my calendar. And back to you, Tarek.
Thanks, Anne. Just as we get closer to the top of the hour here, everyone asks about pricing. One of our, Anne and I have always wanted to both keep this platform cost effective and affordable, and also kind of be open about how we do price. So we're going to release a credit-based model for all the tools we just showed. You basically pay a monthly subscription fee, and then each line that you analyze, you buy a credit pack. So, if you're doing, 1,000, 2,000 lines a month, or you have that many in your database, this is what you would pay. We do have volume discounts available. For example, if you have 50,000 products, we split that 50,000 cost across 12 months. I can explain more. I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's ways we can help save. We can offer volume discounts, and there's a few other ways that we can help out if cost is an issue. So just wanted to mention that I can share this with whoever wants it. And we'll release this credit-based model towards the end of next week. All right, roadmap stuff, multiple countries coming soon. We're working hard on initially Mexico, Canada, and then Brazil, other South American countries, Asian countries, EU as well. So work in progress. Ideally, by Q4, we have a much larger quorum of data. Affiliates rule I mentioned, that's the commerce ruling. We are going to have a tool out for that before July 4. FTA qualification, country of origin, quotas, Q3, Q4. We're working hard on a model for that. Again, this is advisory, right? So this is us saying, hey, this is what we're interpreting based on the information you provided. You do need to validate, verify that with a broker, with your counsel, legal counsel, or whoever does your trade compliance. And then screening, so actually doing Mexico, Canada, not just the tariff and duty, but the regulatory screen as well. So getting North America done. By then, hopefully, who knows where USMCA will be at, but at least we can, we may have some direction, then we'll keep working on figuring out how to get that to customers. Okay, resources. I think we posted our emails, mentioned the Chapter 99 codes. I'll share the Notion site. So even with the ACE analyzer, our changelog becomes very important because that analysis output will change based on the stuff that's changing in the Chapter 99. So do track this, save this in your bookmarks. And then lastly, the broker code. And well, I'll keep this page up, but if you want to shoot the broker, the CEU code in the chat.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Okay. Yeah, they've been super quick lately in CBFA, like 1 or 2 days. It's been great. Here's my calendar link as well. I'll post that in the chat. People usually only want to speak to Anne, but you're off chart.
It's because I smile so much, Tarek. I may need
I send it to you.
yeah, please.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Right, hold on. Okay, and yeah, now's a good time for Q&A while we do that. If anyone has any questions or anything they want to touch on.
I got one question just around, is the bulk tariff tool, not the analyzer, but the bulk tool, is that something we should be using? I would say if you are entering in keying in hundreds of HS codes or 20, 50 into our single tool, the bulk tariff tool is a good option. Also, I've heard a lot from brokers recently saying, I need to save seconds, not minutes, or minutes, not hours. So it's definitely an efficiency there as well. So if you need to get that all in and just start digging in, that is definitely a good tool to explore and look at. And we can always hop on sometime and show you what that looks like.
Posted the code in the chat, folks.
And we can follow up with that code in an email for anyone who attended.
Yeah, we'll share the recording link and the code and a couple of other resources like the Notion page as well. We also have a Slack. Oh, let me just show that real quick if there's no questions. But we do have a Slack site as well, which you can join. And in here, we post our data updates too. Let me share that real quick. So in here, we have different categories where we post data changes. We have import controls. We have just information on when things get updated. I will share that link here.
Great. And I don't see any other questions coming in, Tarek, so I think we can give everyone their 5 minutes back.
All right. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. It's always a pleasure having you on. And yeah, have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you, guys.